Good afternoon, everybody. It's a little bit earlier today, but I wanted to go ahead and give this update as soon as I could. So the situation here is we now have a post from Keith. We now have the coiling that was mentioned at the beginning of this week. We're now seeing the movement that we've been wanting to see. So where does this leave us? There's a lot of questions that, a lot of people are posting about. A lot of people have different answers in many different ways. But what I want to go back to is the same thing we've been analyzing for the last few weeks, even few months. Right now, we are on the weekly chart. We've highlighted this barcode section. I don't really think I need to touch base on that again, right? We are inside this window. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to subscribe and you want to follow along and you enjoy this additional due diligence for the trade that we all love and we all want to participate in, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you want to participate in live trading and a few other benefits, please join the Discord. We had a very successful morning this morning, and we would love for you guys to be able to participate inside the Discord. We had some runners today that almost went over 100% on snow, 50% gainer on Walgreens within minutes of the open, actually within 1 minute. Our positions are still open on GME, so if you want to tag along and you want to join, the link will be in the chat. Feel free to join at any point in time. So into the trade. We talked about this. We have an analysis between this 72 level and this 59 level. This is our RSI indicator, right? There's a lot of things that have taken place, right? If you look at how the earnings has been spaced out, earnings were brought forward. There was dilution. There was a lot of different things that came in the middle of this trade during this run-up that we've seen. I kind of transitioned from the original upper channel that we had been highlighting for a few weeks. That part of this trade had become invalidated, right? So we didn't want to continue going down that path if that was not going to be the way that we were going to become the most profitable. So what I've done here is I've used this pattern and been able to form this upper channel where we saw that we had broke above this upper channel here, and then we had touched those recent highs, right? But a lot of you guys are already aware of that, so we don't need to touch base on it. So what I want to get into is here. This green candle is extremely important, especially in the time frame that we're on, with this being 627. There's been a lot of analysis saying, okay, well, there's not a whole lot of flow, there's not a lot of volume, there's not a lot of this. It's the exact same conversation that we've had for 3 years. The exact same conversation. Well, there's no volume, there's no catalyst, there's no this. Okay, we need to throw that out. The chart is telling us that there's a play here. And it may not be a long-term play, it may not be a short-term play necessarily. It's not being boxed in. No one is going to tell you that this is exactly going to run this amount of dollars or that this percentage or whatever. These are opportunities for you to make money in the market. You should be taking advantage of these opportunities just like any other opportunity that's out there. During the analysis this morning when we were taking trades in the group, I showed that you're able to overlay short volume on a lot of different symbols. This isn't just a GME thing. This isn't just an AMC thing. What this is the market dynamics that we need to understand as a group, and the more that we understand that, the more we can be profitable. So as I'm recording this is live, right? There's no fake message. This isn't coming after the fact. That's why this was important today for me to be able to share this. I want you guys to take a big deep dive on the information that we're about to go through. I always start on the weekly chart. Here's our weekly chart, right? We are in this upper channel. We broke down outside of it. I'm looking for us to get back inside this channel and be able to reclaim those recent highs that we've seen previously. Let's go down to the daily chart. Right now, we have an extension of where we've been highlighting, right? I've moved this rectangle around a little bit due to the weekly, due to the daily. This it's a fluid environment, right? The overall barcode that we were referring to originally, okay, became invalidated, not from the sense that we stopped barcoding, but from a sense of the range that we are in. We are in a range going from 29 to 24. We have now been in this range where we've been bouncing between 23 and 20, I'd say 26, right? So those are two different barcoding sections. This is why this is important. We are not breaking down or showing signs of wear and tear, weakness, all of this. Last night, I'm sitting there and I'm watching all these videos where, this DD is coming out or this post is coming out or we could do this or we could do that. Enough of the hypotheticals. Let's make money, right? And how we make money on this trade is making sure that we have the right levels identified, we have the right strategy identified, and we have the right risk versus reward system in place so we don't blow up an account, we don't over leverage, we don't create a bunch of panic that doesn't need to be there, right? So when we're looking at this, right, these are in two different sections. I would really want to kind of tighten this up. And the reason why I want to do this is this. So we are splitting this area here into lower thirds, right? It is so clear to everyone that we need to stay below this channel. We need to stay below this $25 level. We need to stay below the $26 level. The open interest and the contracts that are present today dictate some of the movement that's going on. The reason why I truly believe we do not see the volume that we are once seeing is that people are holding. People are maintaining their patience. This isn't a lot of up and down, panic there, FOMO here, all around. We have created a group of hardened investors that are willing to weather the storm, and if it doesn't reach a certain level and it doesn't reach where we need it to go, we are not going to sell. It's very clear. There's not this level of chop. There's not this level of churn. All these different things that people keep naming, right? There's not a description that's going to be able to capture all of this into one perspective, okay? I can look at the open interest. I could put that on this chart, right? I can do a lot of different things. The only thing I want to add is this. This is our short sale volume, right? What do you guys notice, right? I can move this up, down, all around, right? There's a lot of different things that I can do here, right? We have a spike here. We have a sustained spike, right? This is actually a plateau. This isn't like an initial, right? This is one single spike, right? Spike. This is a daily chart. This level was maintained, right? Did anybody notice that the FINRA data came out for our current short volume? What did it say? 1.8 million in a difference or a delta between the two. So during the dilution, during all these different things that are being blamed, all this FUD that's coming out that Ryan Cohen stopped the squeeze, we did this, we did that, it's not real. Ignore it, right? We are watching this short sale or short volume continue to drop off, right? Why is it dropping off? I have no logical explanation for it other than this. This is a low zone that can be easily maintained if you're a short seller, right? We're looking at these spikes. You're looking at 8, down to 4, 6. Does anybody watching this video trust that all of this data is correct? Anytime that you have to self-report anything, is it always going to be accurate? Absolutely not, right? when I extend this barcode up, if I capture this wick and it's the exact bounce, you guys have seen this lower channel on the last 3 videos. I'm not moving it. The only thing I'm doing is extending it. So we had a test of that channel. That's not being moved. It's not a false narrative. It's not some kind of discussion that's being had where we're moving the ball. That's not what's happening. I want everyone to realize there's no reason to be panicked in this trade. Right? That's all I'm trying to get across to the group. What do we have here? Yellow represents the RSI moving average. Purple represents the RSI. We had a spike here, right? And we are slowly walking down. I have not been this level of bullish on GME in a long time. There's no single catalyst that is greater than everyone holding their position and not selling it for a price that it's not worth. If there was any kind of catalyst, right, we're going to need more than a tweet. We're going to need more than something posted on Superstock. We're going to need more, right? When this volume begins increasing to a level that we truly think is representative of the actual trade, we will start paying attention. But until then, this chop that's going on here, where there's barely any movement at all, there's barely any like forward progress, we're just going sideways. Well, how long can we go sideways? I know all of us that are holding shares, and a large amount of shares, can hold it as long as we want, because it's money that some of us may not have had, some of us had, some of us lost, all of that. But you know what they've taught us? They've taught us how to average down. They've taught us how to remain calm. They've taught us how to believe in a stock. They've taught us how to have a exit strategy, have a contingency plan. All of the market dynamics that retail investors haven't had was taught to us. And you know what? The best lesson to learn is one that you experience yourself. Anybody can read anything out of a book, but if you experience it for yourself, it changes who you are. And what is going on right now is this isn't changing who anybody is. Sure, there's some people on the sidelines that are waiting for the next run up, the next, extremely bullish candle. There's a lot of people waiting a lot of things. But here's the thing. We don't have anything but time. The open interest, right? We're watching the flow at July 19th, going into August, going into October. You know what the open interest changes that are taking place? The puts that are in January are being closed. And I'm talking about the puts that were at $3, at $5, at $10. Why are those being closed? Well, you can see now those are decaying as well. So in the game of chess, there's a few pawns you're going to lose, right? You're going to have to sacrifice a few things. I'm willing to sacrifice those short-term options for long-term gains on the shares. Everybody should be willing to do that. If you're exercising your calls, if you're exercising your puts, if you're riding this support and resistance levels correctly, you should be getting money off of puts and calls, because it's more free money. That's what this has become. This is a free money cycle, because if you're mapping out and you're following the correct support and resistance levels, you're going to continue to be getting more and more money in the short term to buy more long-term investments. The interesting part for me in this whole thing is, how many lessons do you want to teach with people's money? How many? I could tell you, so many lessons have been learned, and when you lose your money, right, it changes you. You might have needed that extra $50 or $100 or $1,000, whatever it is. for a bill, for this, for that. And you might have had to explain to a loved one, hey, I'm not able to buy that today because I averaged down a little bit more on GME. I bought 2 shares. And that may have created an argument. You may have argued with your family at Thanksgiving, at Christmas, wherever, right? That you believe in something that you shouldn't. But guess what? Now is the time. Now is the time to do exactly what we've been discussing. The part where I really want to analyze is this. We have these pivot points, right? And this isn't going to be perfect. Charting 101, right? In Keith's video, he said, we used to do charts. That is correct. Anybody that was following along and had an investment in this, right? And it started out as, hey, I don't like my job, or hey, I'm bored at the house because I'm locked in, right? We all were locked in for COVID. We lost loved ones. We did a lot of things, right? But here's the thing. When you made those changes, right? It wasn't just you that was impacted, right? I know it couldn't be. It was probably many different loved ones, right? There might have been many different discussions. I want to zoom in on this really quick. My best friend is the algorithm. You want to know why the algorithm is my best friend? It's very simple. Because humans make repetitive motions, right? But emotion or turmoil or a systematic change, right? Behaviors, that will affect how something is traded. The algorithm has no feelings. So all it does is set up more and more and more opportunities for each and every one of us. I just boxed this into 2 different pivot zones and then a change, right, where we came down to this exact support. You guys know that have been following this video that this support was mapped out. You want to know how? Because it is the same support that we used previously. It's the same resistance that was used previously. It's all the same levels. It's all repetitive. So when you're getting in these trades, right? And here's the thing. The $50 calls we're in, they're almost worthless at the beginning of this week. GME moves $2 and they recovered almost 80%. Think about that. Purely think about the volatility and how much this has got attention from everyone. It's the number 1 thing being talked about. It's the number 2 thing being talked about. It's the number 3 thing being talked about. You can see where news anchors are getting frustrated live on air talking about GME again. Because you know what? I guarantee there's somebody on the backside telling them what they can and cannot say. Do you agree or disagree? I already know you agree. I've never seen people that were professionals become so distraught because of one ticker symbol being mentioned. Why is that? Nobody should be getting that frustrated live on air about a ticker symbol. Why is it being talked about like this? Why? Right? I can move this around to many different levels, but you know what? At the end of the day, all this represents to me is that we have an extremely bullish indicator. So continue to buy shares for the low. Load up, and let's make it happen. Have a good day.